Okay, it is Board of Health meeting. It is November 4th, 2021, 7 PM. We're a little late. It's a hybrid meeting. I don't report you that. Present is Tom Fitzgerald, our part-time fill-in health director. Jean Nielsen, Mackenzie Kane,
Jessica Pelly,
Kelly,
Ashley Mountain.
and Sue Braska. We're going to review the minutes. Somebody have a first page?
Where's yours go?
It's all-
Oh, I think Jean stole it from me, but I think you gave it to Ashley. It doesn't matter.
Ashley can read it so you know what's going on.
Okay.
These food service inspections, were they due to
It was,
the 250, the 250,
I believe so.
The Devil Day was at the craft fair that was at the Brass Rail.
oh, okay, so
Yeah.
that's about those,
Was
right?
on
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, that's it. It's all way down in- What's that?
That's the page there.
Okay.
Okay. Any corrections, changes, additions?
Oh, thank you.
No, everyone's all set?
There's just a single typo there.
Single typo, okay. Make a motion to accept the minutes of October 21st. All
I'll
in
second
favor?
that motion.
All in favor?
Roll
Mackenzie?
call vote.
Oh, Mackenzie Kane, yes.
Jean Nelson, yes.
Sue Braska, yes. Okay, is your public comment, who's on the,
Peter and
Computer.
Andrea, and both of them are muted.
all right.
You really should come over here, Sue.
Well, you want to ask them if they have any comments, any comments they want to make?
Do you have any comments you want to make, Peter or Andrea?
I'm okay, thank you.
I'm all set at this time, thank you.
Okay, no public comments at
Okay.
this time.
So Ashley Mountain, why don't you give us a report?
Yeah, so last time I talked to Tammy, She had told me, I don't know if you guys have discussed it at all, about new positions coming for like a full-time nurse and a part-time nurse.
For the grant.
Yeah, she was talking about waiting for some approval. She had said she was staying on in some capacity, she was gonna be facilitating it. I don't know how much she'll be involved, but she had said they were waiting for approval for, they said it was gonna be like a district, so I don't think it was gonna be a full-time and a part-time for Southwick. I think it was gonna be combined towns. But she said more info to come in the next few weeks, so.
Regional.
Actually,
Yeah.
I do know about that because I met
Okay.
with Tammy. I can just.
Yeah, she
amplify
just
that.
gave
I don't
me-
want to stop
Okay.
unless you want to,
No,
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 that's
talk,
fine.
Okay.
since you're talking about the health.
because it actually has something to do with what I'm going to be talking about later on.
Okay,
It has to do with, there's 6 towns, Southwick Town, Granville, Montgomery, Blandford, and Russell are going to be the beneficiaries of this grant for 1.5 nurses. The plan was to have the full-time nurse working for Southwick Town and Granville, and the half-time working for the other 3 towns, okay? So, and we still haven't got the money yet, according to Tammy.
yeah.
Excuse me, Tom,
Yeah.
have we got the contract yet?
Just the notification that the money has been awarded, the contract is, so the paperwork, I don't believe, no, she
Right.
didn't show me anything yet.
Okay.
So that's what the 6, those are the 6 towns that are involved with it.
What are the towns again?
Our south, the regional school district towns, and then Blandford, Montgomery, and Russell.
Okay,
So South
and no
Lake
Chester,
Island.
okay.
No, Chester, right. Chester.
Okay, go ahead,
Sorry.
Ashley.
Okay, so I guess Tammy was sending out a weekly report to you guys of like the town numbers. So she asked me to take that over, so I'll be sending it out Fridays, I think she normally
Mhm.
does it.
Mhm.
They update it Thursday night, so there wasn't really any up-to-date info
So
yet.
do you know who to send it to, the?
She had said to send it to Jim to put on the website, and then you guys. Is there anyone else I should send it to? Just everybody
Get my
here.
email.
Yeah. Do you have you don't have an email yet here?
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, she did tell me that you didn't have one
Yeah.
yet. I have your guys', I think.
Do you have any indication of what the numbers are, or?
Not really. The past week hasn't been too many new cases. I know last week we were still in like the yellow range, which means for our town would be 25 cases or less. This week there were 17 addresses, but there were a couple people at a couple addresses, so I think there's about 22. But I'll have to check tomorrow when it's updated. It's normally sometime Thursday night, she said. But yeah, 17 addresses.
That means what,
Yeah.
17 positive cases?
17 addresses for, there's a couple houses that have 2 people.
So at least 17 positives.
Yeah, at least, yeah, it's probably low 20s, like 22.
Because it's
I
like
didn't
30
check it tonight.
It was 34 2 weeks ago, so.
Yeah, it looks like it was going down. This week hasn't been too crazy with new cases. The other new thing is, I don't know, and it doesn't really affect you guys, but Massachusetts set up like a contact tracing center to help with COVID cases for all the public health nurses for the past year and a half. But that's ending November 31st. So they help me with the contact tracing, but since things are kind of going down and they're going to be dissolving that, so I'll do all the contact tracing.
So
But
is-
hopefully things will be
How,
down.
about how many hours a week does that take, do you know?
I mean, right now I've been doing like 2 hours a week, but I do send them probably more than half the cases. So it's gonna kind of,
Hopefully we're going to dwindle down.
yeah, I'm hoping things will kind of slow down more. Because I mostly focus on like the kid cases, the people that are in schools, so I can communicate with the school nurse and stuff. But yeah, starting the end of the month, I'll be doing all of it. So might be more hours, we'll see. Depends on how the cases go. I also am still sending out a report like 2 to 3 times a week with all the addresses of COVID positive cases to dispatchers, police chief, and fire chief, just so they know if they get calls to go to any of that house.
But they're also using those precautions anyway, right?
Yeah, I
mean,
think they,
I mean, I would think that they would be doing just like universal precautions.
Yeah, I
for
think they're
bloodborne
using-
pathogens, just assume everybody has it, and
yeah, they're wearing masks into every
Yeah,
house. But they do like a heads up if there's anything
Right,
else going
right.
on. So I've been sending that to those people a couple times a week, just so they stay current on that.
because as you know, some people are getting home tested, and it's not going through Maven, so.
Yeah.
Even if there's not
Yeah,
an
sometimes
address that
there's-
says there.
Sometimes the police know about cases before I do, because if
Yeah,
you get
and-
tested
and
out of
sometimes
state.
nobody knows about it except for
Yeah,
the people that have it,
mhm.
so.
Yeah,
it's-
if you
it's
get
good
tested
that
out of state,
our-
sometimes we don't get it.
Our
so.
EMS people are always taking the precautions.
So the school cases have not been too bad so far. There haven't really been any clusters. It's mostly kids that are going to the school that were exposed by a sibling that's in daycare. That's what I've mostly seen, is they were a contact of their younger sibling who's in daycare. So there haven't been any outbreaks at the school, just a couple of cases. But I'm still communicating with the school nurse pretty much every week. There's going to be a COVID booster clinic here on Monday.
I thought it was Tuesday.
The 16th. Oh, no, it's whatever the 16th
Monday's
is.
what?
16th is a Tuesday.
Okay, Tuesday, yep. So that's 65 and older, underlying illness, or if you had the Johnson & Johnson, you can get a booster. So those are the people that are eligible.
So they're going to have Pfizer and Moderna too?
They're gonna have everything. You can get your initial doses if you haven't had any vaccines, you can get it, or you can get a booster. They'll have both boosters, but if you had Johnson & Johnson, you can get a booster.
And that's through the senior center?
Yep.
And people need to register through the senior
Yeah,
center?
call the senior center to make an appointment.
Okay.
And it's from what, 9 to noon or something
Yep,
like
9 to
that?
12. And then the flyer reiterates who's eligible. Couple cases, couple outbreaks at daycares in town, but maybe like once a month. That's probably what's kept me the busiest.
So what's the, so if a child comes down with it from a daycare, what happens? What's the,
So the classroom that they're in kind of gets shut down. One of the daycares have reached out to me because they were talking that everyone's getting frustrated, parents, with classrooms shutting down like every month. And they had asked if the daycare staff could go to people's homes to babysit, and me and Tammy said no, just because it's a violation of child's quarantine if someone's going in and out to watch them. So yeah, the classroom gets shut down.
for how long?
10 days. So right now, the guidelines,
So no, so do those kids have to get tested or only if they have symptoms?
they don't have to. A lot of the parents do. A lot of places won't test kids 3 and younger. I don't think I've ever seen a positive test come through on a kid younger than 3. But right now, the guidelines are if you test positive, it's 10 days from the day you took the test. So if someone tests positive, they have to isolate 10 days. And as long as they're not having symptoms, feeling better at the end of 10 days, that's it for quarantine. If you're exposed, but not a close contact, so close contact is if you're within 6 feet for 15 minutes or more. If you were just exposed, to say you dropped something off at someone's house and then you found out the next day they had COVID, you don't have to isolate at all if you're vaccinated. So that was a change recently, so I wanted to share that if you were just exposed but you're vaccinated, you don't have to isolate, you just want to monitor and make sure. But if it's someone in your house who you're within 6 feet, 15 minutes, isolate either the full 10 days or get a test after 5 days. And if you're negative, you can stop. So close contact, you have to isolate at least 5 days. And then if you're positive, always 10 days. So that's the newest guideline, was that they said you don't have to isolate if you were exposed and vaccinated. So that's something that's changed, which is why I wanted to share that. And I think that's pretty much all that's new in COVID.
Do you know, with the schools, they're doing the test and stay? So the or the childcare closing down, meaning nobody's coming to that classroom for 10 days, or they're dispersing kids to other classrooms?
No, everyone kind of has to stay home. So that's
Okay.
why parents are kind of getting
Getting that, yep.
because it's just like once a month that someone gets sick at the daycare.
So, but in the school systems, they're doing the test and stay to try to resolve that issue. Do you know about that?
Test and stay, not familiar with that.
They bought these like portable machines where the school nurse is testing the kids and getting like a rapid test
Oh, okay.
on site and keeping the kid in the classroom unless they test
I
positive.
see.
I guess those are unrelated.
I
Have
don't know
you
about the
heard of any
machine.
kids getting like really sick to where they need hospital care?
No, it's always, I mean, we don't really have anyone in town who's needed to be hospitalized,
Okay.
adult or kid.
Okay.
It's normally the older people that are getting the symptoms. Most of the kids feel fine.
Are the most of the people been vaccinated that are coming down with it?
Most
know?
of the adults, I'd say maybe 2/3 of adults, no kids. Yeah, I think they just approved vaccine for older kids. So that's something that might start happening. Kids might be getting vaccinated soon, but I'd say like 2/3 of the adults are.
Are there 2 more variants that they've come out with? No, okay.
I haven't
Just
seen
listen
anything
to
on
the
Maven.
others. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard one new variant.
On Maven, they don't really specify a variant. It's all just COVID.
I've honestly never in the hospital, do they even test for what variant?
No.
No,
Exactly, so how does anybody know?
I think once in a while, Mass Department of Public Health will ask for certain specimens, and I don't know.
Okay,
I
so they
don't
take
know.
random,
Like an
But I don't
extra
know-
sample or something.
I don't know how that all works.
okay, all right, me neither.
Yeah. So certain places must test for it. And
I just want to add something to what Ashley just said about the contact tracing collaborative. I think that's going to be ending December 31st.
November 31st is
November
when they're
30th,
stopping taking cases,
But
so I
they're,
can't.
but they're shutting
yeah.
down December 31st.
Yeah, so
right.
we'll still have like our liaison that we have.
So
to-
my understanding is, in talking with Jean Galloway, which I will amplify a little later on, but this has more to do with that, the answer to that, is that she told me, Jean, that she had partnered, West Springfield had partnered with Agawam in Southwick in post-contact tracing collaborative ending with a nurse just doing that. So there may be just helping with contact tracing post-December 31st.
I
So
do
that may
remember
be
Tammy
helpful.
last meeting mentioning something of that
Okay,
sort.
so that partnered with the 3 towns.
So she would still be able to defer some of her cases to now maybe this new.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
So that could give you a little,
Yeah.
give you a little help.
Mhm.
Yeah.
so how's that all gonna work? I mean, how,
I don't know.
Figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know yet.
okay.
I just found this out today, so I don't see any paperwork or anything, but, it's going to be helpful for us.
Yeah, definitely, there's definitely some weeks where it should be a full-time job.
Yeah.
and, I mean, some weeks
Yeah.
there's hardly any new cases, some weeks there's 20, so it's definitely time
And how
consuming.
are the people, when you contact them, have they been helpful?
For the most part, sometimes I'd say there's a handful that you just never hear from. We call and request call back, and we just don't hear
Right.
anything. We had one case that didn't want to share who their contacts were. But for the most part, people call right back, especially like the parents of the kids and stuff. So yeah, everyone's been trying getting back.
Okay, so I emailed you Tom's email address, not here though, your own email address, since you're not set up yet, so that you can check to see whether you got it or not.
Okay. Yeah, let me see.
And try emailing him to make sure I gave you the right one. In order to contact him and let him know, so instead of you having to come to every Thursday night meeting, you could just give him a report.
Right.
Unless you want to, and then
Okay.
Tom can just give the report. Is that
That's-
agreeable? Is that
Yeah.
okay for the board? So Ashley doesn't have to come all the time.
Do you have that worksheet that Tammy used to show us when she had a meeting?
Oh, maybe like
That,
a report
You know, the
sheet.
yellow.
Yeah,
It's like an
green.
Excel
Yeah.
spreadsheet.
Mm.
She copied it to me, so I can
Yeah, if you
do
could
that in the
send
weekly
that,
report. Yeah.
so we can have it
Mhm.
at
Okay.
our meeting.
Yeah, I do have your email here.
And Tom, I sent you a contact information thing for our contacts, but I see we're not all on it, so Mackenzie's not on it and Ashley's not on it. So I'll update that and give it to you, so you'll have,
Okay,
you'll know where we all are.
Thank you.
I do have a town email too, which I'd probably prefer to use.
Oh,
So I can
do you want to
email that.
email it to Tom and to me,
It's
so I can use that on the list?
A Mountain?
Yeah. Yeah.
At southwickma.net?
Mhm.
Okay,
All right,
okay. So that'll be easier to go through.
Yeah, I just got a lot of emails on my other one, so I
Mhm.
wanted a
Sure.
all
specific
right,
one.
yeah, put that on there then.
Sure.
There's no dot, right? It's just no dot.
What is
No,
it, A
no,
Mountain?
just A Mountain.
Yeah.
At,
southwickma.net.
okay. Is this owl supposed to be looking?
know,
It's just
when you
almost
talk.
supposed to be looking at who's ever,
Talking
Yeah, it does.
to
It
us.
looks-
it's not though.
Looking at you right now, yes, it
It's,
is.
it's a
that way.
360 swivel.
Oh, because it's looking straight ahead.
There's your picture,
No,
I
it's-
think.
Oh,
It
okay,
can
all
see
right,
all
as long
of
as it
us.
can see and everybody can hear.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right,
It is.
all right, so do
See,
we,
this is the camera right here,
Oh,
not
okay.
that.
I'm looking at the eyes.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Do we have anything else you need to ask Tom, or do we need to ask Ashley, or Ashley needs to ask Tom, or is this to be your
Can
contact?
I ask, would you be interested in that position?
Not the full-time one.
No.
I have another job, so I can't do the full-time one. So we'll have to see how it goes, see what happens
What
with
it
the,
involves.
yeah,
We
what
have
the
to see the
dividing up goes.
contract and-
So
Okay.
will you be getting the information about when that's approved and stuff, if
Absolutely.
that's happening? Okay. Tammy
Yes.
had said like she
Better
was,
be
well, Tammy said she was still gonna be on in some capacity, so I didn't know what,
It's,
how much.
it's, we're very fluid right now as to what is to happening. I
Yeah, I'm gonna
think
still
that's
be in
the
touch with,
gist.
with Tammy.
Okay.
For that
But it
reason.
sounded like they were
Right,
gonna be
and-
reaching
But we
out
don't
to
have
her.
any money yet, so we don't, you know. it's
And
Right,
really-
she said
We
the
would
next
already
2 weeks.
Contract.
Yeah, we were gonna make that decision after the contract. We don't, we don't know what the contract says.
Right,
So that's not written in stone as of yet,
okay,
okay?
sounds good.
But we will definitely have a liaison
Mhm.
in the form of Tom to work out the details. Okay,
Good, yeah.
okay.
All right, thanks. You can stay if you want, or you
I'll
need
stay
to
for a
go.
little bit.
Okay,
Mhm.
good. All right, so next on the agenda is discussion of the public health secretary's position. Does anybody have a copy of the posting for Jessica's position?
No, but it's on channel 15. And what it reads is they're looking for a public health secretary, 5 hours a week at a pay rate of $15.30 an hour.
Okay, so it is there.
So it comes up to about $75 a week.
All right,
So I'm not sure how many people out there want to work for $75 a week.
Not me, no,
No,
but
no.
Yeah,
maybe somebody who's retired, who it would like fall under their, threshold or.
or but they have another job and they're just gonna do this because they want to be involved and know what's going on in the town.
right,
Yeah.
right. So
So
I was
Lisa-
thinking if we did not get any candidates, we might want to up the hours, a couple hours. Because Jessica has been working more than 5 hours a week to get her job done.
Okay, and
Oh, so we should advertise it more than a 5-hour
I would,
weekly position.
I would think,
Are you able to increase the salary? Is that a position?
no,
Can't.
no, and
So pay can't change with the hours count.
it's really convoluted. As a Board of Health secretary, Jess makes $15.30 an hour. Floaters make $15 an hour.
floaters that can go
Floaters
to,
are, the people that go to the different department. And I had asked if there was a floater that could fill in until we
they
got
make 15 or 18?
15. So I asked if there was a floater that could fill in for Jess, until we hired somebody. And I was told that there is a floater that works in the town clerk's office, but she wouldn't work for $15 an hour because she's getting paid more. So why some floaters get 15 and why some other floaters get more, I didn't understand that.
Okay, all right.
So I don't understand the structure of who gets paid, how much and why.
Does it have to do with union?
I don't believe so, because the planning board secretary, she works 20 hours. So if you work over 20 hours, you get a higher rate. If you work under
Oh,
20
okay.
hours, you get a lower rate. So I think that's part of that too.
Now, I had heard that Tammy asked for more hours for Jess.
Yeah, did you hear about that, Jess?
Will you?
Yeah.
I wasn't, I
No.
didn't, no, I didn't, no, but, no.
Yeah. Well.
I mean, we had a discussion about that the position would benefit from more hours,
Right.
but I didn't know that she asked them like for me, like before, I didn't know that.
And the building Board of Health Secretary basically does building.
Yeah.
Building stuff.
Yeah, Tammy did show me the job spec for that, and it was a thing that she assists, that she has been assisting in some manner, but she's primarily.
All right. And she is
Right,
getting all the phone calls and stuff.
right. Basically, she just answers the phone. for the
Okay, so it is posted and it has all the contact information, who to
Yes.
apply to. Okay,
Yes.
so that's good.
Is it possible to share that on like Facebook somehow? Because that's how I found this job,
Really?
was that someone shared it on
Interesting, yeah,
Facebook.
social
and
media, yeah.
I don't know if that's possible, but.
It definitely is, because my husband's the one who shared it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
How did he get to the job description? I don't know, but it was like.
he
a
may have just like
formal-
copied and pasted it off the website, but
What
that's how I
about the
saw it.
guy, the Westfield,
Yeah, the Channel
Big-
15 guy?
No, no,
I don't know,
Oh.
but he shared like, it was a nice article, it was like a formal article, he didn't just like write up a post. He shared something from some news source.
Yeah, it was definitely, they had like the specifics, it wasn't so copied from someone.
yeah, I don't know
but-
how many people look at Channel 15.
I would be honest, I don't know how many people look in newspapers or anywhere other than social media or like
Yeah,
internet
That's
sources.
why I just thought it might be
Um,
more effective.
yeah, that's actually a good idea.
Does anyone know, does the town ever advertise on Facebook?
I don't know.
Does,
Yeah, I
like, do we have a
don't think so.
Facebook
Do
page?
you have a
I don't know.
Facebook? I don't.
Does Southwick, the town of Southwick have a Facebook page?
I don't
Don't
No,
think
no,
so.
there's only like Southwick Community.
Because there's some issues
Forum.
with
There's
that.
like-
yeah, it's
it
like
gets a
ethical
little
issues.
Complicated. Yeah.
But I could share them, there's an ethical issue there. Yeah, it
you
was my
could do-
husband who
as a
shared
personal, as a private, yeah, you could
Yeah.
do that, right?
Yeah.
All right, Jessica,
You guys don't have to say that, but thank you
we
very
wanted
much.
to, but thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate everything you've done.
We're gonna miss you.
Yes, we are. But you're gonna have fun with the little babies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will. I'll have fun with them. I don't know how much more time I'll have with them because, my responsibilities elsewhere are
Yeah,
growing.
you did a marvelous job for us. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you. So, I don't know how to say this. There was the town hall, the people in the town hall did have a goodbye event for Tammy, which I'm glad they did that. That was very nice of them. I think there was some misunderstanding, confusion when they asked if we were going to do something, and I don't know if I said no or you said no, but somebody said no, but it was mainly because I didn't know how about going about doing anything and didn't have the time to go about doing anything, and I didn't know, I knew I couldn't go, you couldn't go, I don't know. So I think there was kind of misunderstanding. We did not get invited, the Board of Health members did not get invited to that luncheon. But because we didn't want to do a luncheon, because we didn't know how to go about doing it, does not mean that we weren't going to do anything for our own, for Tammy, and to praise her for the outstanding job she's done the past 2 years. So we did give her a gift. And that's all I'm going to say about that. If anybody has anything to add. Okay. So, Tom, your transition as health director, how did it go? Today, when did you work with Tammy? Yesterday?
Well, I interviewed her on Tuesday.
And what,
Well, so she said things were really good in most areas, including what Ashley said in terms of the COVID cases going down. The meetings at the school have been reduced because of we don't have quite the same need. Housing court, she hasn't been in housing court, there hasn't been housing court cases that required it. Perks, of course, septics are ongoing. That's been typically busy. Food service, she reported no problems with any of the restaurants at this point. She attends 2 or 3 meetings a week at MD Mass Department of Public Health. I think they have it Tuesdays at 9, and Fridays at 3. At least that's typically what's been, I was doing some of that early on in the Granville last year. And she said even that has been reduced. So all in all, she reported to me that things are in pretty good shape for the town.
So what is your planned agenda?
What?
Do you have a planned agenda?
Yeah, fulfill the obligations of our state mandates and respond to any public health emergencies or crises in any of the areas we just mentioned, food service, housing, environmental issues, obviously working with Ashley and Mackenzie, you're a nurse?
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
so we have good representation on the board for anything to do with COVID cases, so
But you're going to try to do restaurant inspections,
oh, absolutely.
okay?
Yeah.
And any compliance?
And of course, always complaints, if there's new complaints come in, I'll respond to those like that.
You know what, can I backtrack a little bit? Since we don't have a secretary right now, the minutes, so you'll do the minutes for this meeting?
Yes, I will do the minutes for this meeting. And then, I don't know, we'll have to figure out how to tie up loose ends and, because the permits, like who's gonna do them, and,
The permits have been sent out?
oh, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
then-
but they're gonna start coming in and they're gonna pile up, and then, the applications for the health directors, I mean, they're going to my email, so, I mean, nobody's
Have we had any?
won.
But we can ask Jim Middleton to forward your email, your
Okay.
town emails.
Okay,
So, because it was put
Forward
out there,
to you and to Tom.
yeah, or forward them to Tom. Yeah. No.
because like, when she finds somebody, I'm gonna have to tell them some things, like where things are, give them the zip drive, you know what I'm saying? So we're
Well,
gonna have to talk about
yes.
that at some point,
We need,
maybe not now, but.
we need all your Excel worksheets on.
That's what I'm
your-
saying,
everything,
like-
You
Everything.
need
Right.
to transition the new secretary.
Right, so, I mean, we don't need to discuss any of that right now at the meeting, if you wanna move on, but
No,
like
I want,
at some point, I mean, I don't mind
'Cause
training
when's your last
somebody or
day?
whatever. It's supposed to be Monday.
okay,
I'm not going anywhere, I'm not moving out of state, I'm here, you know what I
Right.
mean? I just don't have time to be here
So this will be your
as much
last
as I
meeting,
should.
but you're
Yes,
available to help transition a new secretary.
So-
exactly.
Oh, that's good.
Or,
That's-
I'm not going anywhere, I
Right.
just don't have a lot of time to be in here, like, this position
Yeah.
needs me to be in here, you know what I mean?
so do we need just to send her Excel spreadsheets to you?
If you don't
Well,
mind.
they're on the shared drive, so do you have access to the shared drive?
Yeah.
Right, you do, right?
Right,
So that's all, you can get that, I don't need to give you anything.
okay.
Actually, everything's on the shared drive, even the stuff on the zip drive periodically, I update it, so,
What's it
Got it.
under on the shared drive? Is there a certain
It's an
separate thing
S,
for Board of
it's
Health?
an S. Just,
I know,
it says
but-
share,
says-
and then it's Board of Health.
yeah,
Okay, so it's all
And then
in the board,
it's
so,
their little
yeah,
folders.
yeah,
And
there's
you put it
everything
in,
is
okay.
there, so
Okay,
whoever takes my position, there's just some things that would be helpful if I pointed out to them
Sure.
that would make their
Right.
job easier,
Mhm.
so I don't have a problem doing that, if that works out,
if we do
you know,
get somebody, okay.
yeah, however it happens, you
right,
know, just so things go smoothly and.
right.
In the meantime, though, when we get checks are coming in and stuff, we need to do a turnover.
Right, that's why I'm saying, like,
So do
I
we do
mean-
that during our meeting?
We have no help. We have no choice. Who's gonna do it?
I mean,
Nobody.
I can't give you guaranteed days, I can try and pop in once a week when I have time to keep things not getting so overwhelmed, but I can't give you a specific day that I can do it, it's just, you know, it's gonna have to be
Well,
played by
they-
ear.
it's, going to just pile up, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, it's
And
gonna
then-
pile up.
And then when we
No, I'm
get
not
some
gonna have you
help.
do it because you're only here
Help.
24 hours a week.
Yeah.
If an emergency. I
right.
could
So, you know,
help her
unless we do
downtown.
this at a meeting, we do it at the end of a meeting.
Yes,
Oh, if we can meet, maybe our meetings start at 6 o'clock or something,
Right,
and we can do them at a meeting either either at 6 o'clock
and
or,
then start our
After the
regular
meeting.
meeting at 7, yeah.
Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
and then Tom doesn't have to be here till 7, or we can do it at the end of a meeting or something.
Yeah, I prefer in the beginning because
Me too, I
if
cannot
I
stay
get up
here till 9
at
o'clock.
5 o'clock in the
Right.
morning, I'm not.
So we
in
can
the
start
mood
at
to
like
be
6,
here.
so we can start at
Yeah.
like 6.
Yes.
Yeah,
Would that be considered our meeting? That'd be like the work
I
meeting before
think
the
we
regular
could
meeting?
post it at like from 6 to 7
Yeah.
as a work
yeah.
session,
Yeah,
and then 7
to whenever.
as part of the regular meeting.
Okay.
Monday, are you going to be available? Can we schedule an hour or two on
Yeah.
Monday? Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
And then I can show you
right,
where everything is and all that kind of
right,
stuff.
right. So, yeah, I'll schedule a time with you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we'll get a specific
Mhm.
time on Monday.
Oh, and there's the, Bay State Medical Practices. We pay them every year, for the doctor, so I just requested an invoice for that too. And
Did
that's a
you do
new
the purchase
person.
order?
I gotta get the invoice first, don't I?
No, you can do a purchase order
Kidding me.
before you get
I
an
do them
invoice.
like a couple times a year and I can never remember what the order is.
Who is our, do we have one position or is it a group?
It's one physician, Beltrandy, I think is the name.
Is that what
I
we
don't know, I
had
have the
before,
paperwork.
Dr. Beltrandy?
No.
No, it was
No,
Kupaswamy
it's
before.
Kupaswamy, yeah. So, okay, no, we can,
So there's that too. I
yeah,
don't
we
wanna
can do
forget
that too.
Okay, so question, if we do have that work session, does it have to be
On
on
Zoom,
Zoom?
probably,
Oh, okay.
so people can watch us, process checks for an hour, or they can just, eliminate, or not join until 7 o'clock, because you can join at any time.
All right,
You don't have to join at the beginning of the Zoom.
okay. And then you know how to do with all this turnover, so you can
Yep.
show me how to do it all?
I do it
Okay,
as,
and Mackenzie,
for my
do you wanna- do
conservation
you want to
job.
do it,
Yeah.
be involved too, and you know how to do
Yeah.
it?
Do I know how to do, I don't even
No,
know.
no, no, so you can,
You don't
so
even
you'll
know
know
what
how to do
turnover
it.
Yeah, I
is.
don't even know what that means, but yeah, I could probably figure it
Jess
out.
sends all the checks out and everything,
Yeah,
all the
Permits, the
applications
applications.
out. And then once they pay, you send them the,
Yeah, so they
The
send
permits.
their application with the payment, depending on what the permit is. It has to be signed off by the clerk's office to make sure they don't owe any taxes or what have you. If it's food permit, they have to have, like their serve safe and choke saving and that kind of thing. So you have to make sure all that's in order before.
do they attach the certificates to it?
They are supposed to, and the applications that went out this year, if they need to submit something with their application, like a ServSafe or whatever, we highlighted it so that it stands out a little bit better, so they're supposed to submit it.
Yeah.
They don't always,
So
but
we can review the application, see if everything's applicable, find out, and then get a list, send a list to the town clerk's office.
you send the application down there, there's
Oh,
a
you do?
check
Oh,
off,
Okay, okay.
and then
when they send it back, then
Then you can
we
send
get
us
out the
out.
right,
permit.
then you can do the permit, and then you give it to Tom, he signs it.
Yeah.
And
And
then
then
you mail it out, you make a copy, you put it in the file.
And you make a note on the Excel sheet?
Yeah, well, yeah, there's an Excel sheet that has all the permits. And you put it in there with the permit number, their address, phone number, and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, do you know how to do
Yeah,
it?
it's a worksheet.
It's just a process. It's not anything difficult. It's just a process,
It's kind of like the boat and dock permit website.
probably.
Send out an application, get it back, give them the appropriate permits.
Okay, all right, and then we can do that, and then Tom, you don't have to, we just come in for 7. And you want to just start at our next meeting, if we have any? Because you'll know whether we have some.
You'll
Right.
have some. I promise.
We have some. So then our next, do we have to make a vote on this? Make a motion that we start at 6 o'clock at our next meeting and post it as a work
It's a
session?
work session,
Make a motion?
yeah, okay. So we're going to start the next scheduled Board of Health meeting, which will be what day? What's the day? It'll be the first Thursday in December, no.
Second Thursday in November.
18th?
The
The
second,
18th.
18th.
18th, okay, on November 18th. We'll start our meeting at 6 o'clock under a work session from 6 to 7. Did I make that motion or am I seconding
You
it?
kind of fumbled in the beginning, but yes, I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye. Or Mackenzie Kane, yes.
Jean Nielsen, yes.
Sue Broski, yes.
Okay.
And I had one thing that came to my mind, I just forgot what it was.
Okay.
Oh, the agenda and everything for our next meeting.
Tom.
Oh, Tom used to do the agendas.
Tom can do the
Yeah.
agenda again. Now, I've sent something to Doug Moglen to have him set you up under Zoom
Okay.
for a Zoom account,
Okay.
because he can just take Tammy's Zoom account and transfer it over to Tom.
So am I supposed to contact him?
Yeah,
Doug?
send him an
Okay.
email
All right.
and then find out when. Do you know how to set up a Zoom meeting?
No.
I'll give you a
I know
5-second
it's not, right,
lesson.
it's not
You're all
that, I
set.
heard it's not that
And then
taxing.
you can set me up as a co-host,
Oh, okay.
okay? So that'll be a quickie.
And who
Sure.
does
Okay.
Tom contact about getting town email? Or
Jim
Jim
Middleton.
Middleton,
Yeah,
that's
so-
on my list, that's on my to-do list for Monday, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
does that take care of all? Okay, and you're all set with the accounting office?
Yes.
Yeah.
I will be, I gotta get keys from Robin, I think Tammy turned them in, and Robin has that, to be signed in and signed out,
Okay,
so I'll get that done too.
so we have everything we need in that
Well,
respect?
one more thing
Okay.
about the minutes.
Yes,
There'll be actually nobody here to take minutes per se, so we're going to have to use the Zoom recording as our minutes until we get somebody.
so what do
I
we do
can't
though?
do that.
Is it open meeting law have to have recorded hard copy minutes?
I'm not sure about that, but if there's nobody to do it, it will get done. It just won't get done until we can get somebody to
Well, I
replace
can
Jessica.
take them.
No,
during
or
the
we'll
meeting.
jot
Yeah,
it
but
down.
you
or-
only got 24 hours.
No, we don't want you to do
a
it. We don't want you to waste
No,
your precious time.
Yeah, but. Not a big deal.
I mean, you can take
Or you
them
don't-
during the meeting,
what I
but
meant.
it's, you gotta type them up.
Or you can give them to
That
me,
takes longer than writing them
or you
down.
can give them to me and type them up, or I can jot them down, so I can't read my writing afterwards.
Right.
Well, As you
Could be
know,
a problem.
But you
know
can
that.
type minutes from the recording. You can go back and watch this whole thing, and that's
Yeah.
what I've done for other boards, is because if I miss something that I written down, I actually go back and watch the meeting again on Zoom.
How soon are those available online?
Usually Jim puts them online the next day
Okay,
or very shortly thereafter.
okay.
It's not, any big time lapse before he gets them on. And he pulls them right off. You don't have to send anything.
Okay. All right, so I think that covers Jess.
Jess, yeah.
I think that covers what Tom needs. And
Mhm.
obviously, you don't have a health inspector's report because you just,
That's right,
Came in.
other than what I told you.
all right,
Alright.
so you'll be starting Monday.
Mhm.
Okay, so we have to discuss the health director's, the new health director's position. And we did get one applicant, and I don't know if you've all,
I have not, somebody's got my email wrong, because I have got no information.
Really?
Yeah, it's MIK, and it's, you guys have it as MAK. So it's
So, and who it's been
Close,
going
but no
to.
cigar. I don't know.
Yeah,
if it's
probably
going to
not.
Matt
Yeah.
Kenzie, Gmail.
Huh?
You've never gotten any emails from anyone, or you mean?
Sometimes I get an email from you.
Sometimes.
Well, you know what, because when I put in your, if I put an M or whatever,
Yeah, it just brings. it
I
up.
just click
Yeah,
it,
it
I don't
brings it
even
up,
pay
yeah.
attention
Yeah,
if
it's
it's an
not-
A or an I
Yeah.
just quickly look, oh, no one.
In the beginning, I was getting getting everybody's email, but now I'm not.
Okay. You have all our emails.
Yeah, but how am
So-
I supposed to know if you emailed? Like, I didn't even know you were resigning.
Okay, so what you're going to do, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Send us
Oh, an email with my
an
correct.
email, and then we will have your correct email,
Perfect. I can do that.
okay?
Do you have the applicant?
I'm
Resume?
looking,
Oh, okay.
I'm looking for it.
I think it's on my desk over, you want me to go get it?
Yeah, I have it here, but
Spreadsheets over there.
I have it on scrap
I
paper.
printed out the questions for you guys too.
Oh,
I had them
thank
last week
you.
and I forgot to give them to you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, gosh, we gotta do this again.
I'll leave it. But we can revamp these questions.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Holy
Why, what's
smokes.
wrong with these questions?
Well, there's 15.
Well,
of
just
them.
number 2 is especially
Well, some,
issue 4.
Yeah, well, we fell for that one.
Um,
So, yeah, we'll have, you know what, I would say take a look at these.
Yeah, we can.
And we'll
use this as
revamp
a
them, and,
structure.
so we do have the one applicant. Do you have a copy? Did you get a copy of the?
No, but I did see it when you sent it to me by electronically.
Can I,
I didn't.
you have a copy?
That's it, no, I don't have a copy, you want me to make copies?
Yeah,
I just want to briefly look.
one for Tom and
Okay,
one for Mackenzie, and I do have one here.
you do have one?
Yeah, it's on scrap paper here. Please find my resume and application attached for consideration for the opening of the public health director for the town of Southwick. I have over 25 years of experience in management, food industry, and regulatory compliance. I believe I have a combination of education and experience needed to carry out the duties of this position as it is outlined in the job description.
All right, like it.
I'm humbly requesting your consideration for this very important role. I look forward to discussing this opportunity in further detail in an interview setting, should I be offered that privilege.
That's nice.
And Jessica, you sent an acknowledgement letter.
Yeah.
Is it like a form letter so that we'll know
Oh,
for the future?
I didn't send a letter. I just responded to his email. Should I
Okay.
have done that? Sorry.
No,
I
long
didn't.
as long as there's
I
some.
just responded and I said
Yes.
thank you or whatever, and that I forwarded it to the board, and he said thank you for
Yeah,
your
okay,
consideration.
that's good, as long as he knows that we got
Yeah,
it
no,
and
I told him.
and we're looking at it.
Thank you. There's typo in some sentence.
So, this person is from, is there an address on here?
They are from out east, it looks.
Yeah. But no, like residential address, it just says City of Boston Health Inspector. So you could assume,
You remember
That was
our other
close.
applicants, we had a couple other applicants this last time that we did not interview.
Mhm.
Do you remember,
Should we say their preference?
You remember what?
do you remember who they were? I mean, do
Yeah, I
we have
do.
them on file somewhere that we
Yeah.
can pull out?
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't know where this person is located.
you know, there's no residential or mailing address, just an email address.
All right, so we have to make I don't have a copy of the job posting.
I actually think I do.
Do you have a copy of it?
Yeah, from Southwick Fund, yes, I do.
Can I make a copy of it?
Sure.
Health
I
and
was gonna make a comment about that.
Okay,
You
Go
want
ahead.
a copy of it?
yeah, well, let's, Tom,
It's,
talk.
well, I mean, it's probably taken somewhat from some years earlier than some additions to it. It's pretty ambitious, and I was going, when I looked at it, because I hadn't seen a new one, I didn't realize that it didn't have the salary range on it, which is kind of interesting, because I thought that was the reason why we weren't getting applicants. So it's actually a little more concerning to me that there wasn't a salary range on there and we're not getting applicants. Okay? Because that says, to me, it's more troubling that they're having a hard time finding people that want this position, period, without putting a number on there. You know? If it was 30,000 and we can get anybody, okay. If it was 150,000 and we, not getting anybody, that's a problem too. So I'm more concerned when I just realized that we didn't have the TNE salary on there. And
That we're
it didn't
not
come.
getting applicants.
Yeah, they were not
because-
getting it, they don't even know what the salary range is. I mean, he doesn't seem unqualified, I'm not saying that, I'm just talking about just applicants in general,
Yeah.
which we did the last time.
Right,
We had 4 or 5 the last time.
right.
So I think there's something going on, and it's something to do with, I think, COVID and people are burnt out. People are leaving their jobs, but I just wanted to add that to the mix.
So you're saying our prospects are dim?
So do you think we should put a salary range on there, and given all the requirements that we're asking for, that we need to up the salary, or cut down on some of the requirements and keep the salary as it is?
Yes, that was going to be my argument if the salary was in there, Tammy's salary was in there, but since it's not in there, I don't know. Now that throws that whole theory about reducing the qualifications if it's not based on what we're paying. And maybe if we could boost the salary and then advertise that as part of it, that may help also. The select board, make a recommendation to increase the salary. Because no one's called, I don't know, Jess, has anybody called and said, what's the salary range?
No,
So
not that I'm here very often, but no,
do
not to
you,
my knowledge.
do you think the qualifications, some of them could be eliminated or reduced?
Yes.
Because this
Yes.
is
It's extensive.
extensive. It's
It
too
is, oh, I
extensive.
agree, and that could be causing some
deterrent.
people,
Right.
but still, if that was a $100,000 job, there's still these people applying. There's a lot of people that would have those credentials,
Right.
and want to work in Southwick for that kind of money, but
Okay, can I ask you if you would review this and make changes
absolutely.
to what you think may entice an applicant, inclusive of maybe a salary, a reduction of the requirements, kind of
Yes.
a,
Because I think, for example, you have our RS, just for an example, you have our RS required, I would,
If they're reviewing septic plans,
a lot of towns don't have RS reviewing septic
What if you
plans.
just put preferred instead of,
That's possible, or
required?
have to get it within 18 months, or, I
Yeah.
mean,
Right.
for example, I don't necessarily think that the RS should be the be all end all for this, for example, and that could be part of the reason. However, I have some news that maybe would give us a little hope, and it kind of piggybacks on what we were talking about earlier. If I can share it now, I was talking to Gene Galloway today, based upon the fact that we heard that there's a new grant funding coming in.
now Gene Galloway is who?
West Side Health Department, who also told me about the partnership that Southwick and Agawam have with West Springfield on the COVID nurse contact tracing folks, and EPI, I think, too. You get an EPI with that. Okay. And the more I learn about this, I'll pass it along to you. But in addition to that, I wanted to find out if we had an opportunity to get some money, grant money, with using a shared services agreement. As you know, we already have some shared services, it's called the school, with Granville and Talon. So the natural would be looking at the possibility of going with Granville and Talon, for example, along with Southwick. But since we have a nursing grant coming up with those three towns, as well as Montgomery, Russell, and Blandford, this new grant's coming up, and I spoke to some state people as well, for the new RFP, request for proposals, that shows that if we add a town to existing proposal that we have for the nursing or grant, then we could apply again for shared services grant, which would include a health professional, which would actually be funded. So it would be funded, but it would be not unlike the nursing, would be similar to that, but it would be a health professional that would be working for several towns or more than one. Again, not unlike the nursing.
I thought we visited this before, and we had kind of like decided not to have a shared health inspector. I mean, it's like regionalizing,
Right.
like didn't the,
Yeah, but that's the,
Right.
yeah, that's the word everybody, yeah.
yeah,
You gotta be careful with that, but I have to say, there is a trend in for smaller towns and even larger ones, like, for example, West Springfield, that they're doing that for cost and efficiency as well. And in fact, don't forget, there's money coming in here, not just the fact that you're getting another person. The town doesn't have to pay that cost, it's coming through shared services.
So a salary could be more substantial than,
That would be one way of looking at it, but it would have to be 7 towns now. So,
Seven
however,
towns?
okay, but just think, this nursing grant is 6 towns. And but the good news is that I've been told that if you added one town, for example, West Springfield, to it, then we wouldn't even have to reapply for an RFP. It would be part of what we're already doing right now. In other words, it wouldn't be a new grant application, it would be added to what we already have. So I wanted to bring it up today and mention it, and if you're not inclined to go with that, well, let them know. But I know I've spoken to Granville and other folks have spoken to Talon as well. I haven't spoken to the other 3 towns we talked about that are part of the nursing shared grant program. But I thought it was something that we should at least look into, given what we have going on. But with that said, the downside is I know Long Meadow is trying to find a health inspector, and they're having trouble. So it's not just us. And apparently, and they were offering a pretty good salary for that position. They can't find anybody.
Do you happen to know what they were offering?
No, I don't, but I can find out.
It might be helpful, because if Long Meadow can't find one.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's, kind of going back to the fact that we didn't have a salary on there, so, yeah, there's some challenges going on with the public health field right now.
well, thank goodness we have you.
Yeah.
And,
I don't think Tom wants to be here forever, though.
well, I think you're gonna have to be.
No, we'll find someone, we'll find someone eventually.
But, can you work on this as part of?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, maybe changing, revising,
Oh, the
improving
Yeah,
application.
this application to begin with.
But I did tell Jean that I would bring it to the board tonight and get your response. And quite frankly, I thought the select board they've been here, going to be on the Zoom call as well, because they would be, they partly having to accept any money that came through.
I'm not comfortable with the health director shared, for 7 towns.
I
Okay,
don't know
but
if they
but-
would be either.
Okay, that wasn't clear. It doesn't necessarily mean that would be the model. It would be augmenting possibly the director's position. In other words, it would giving them help. Okay, Some of the,
Oh,
some of the
it would be-
directors,
We would still have it, we would still have a
Yes.
director,
yes.
and then this
And
would
then-
be a helper.
Yes, and that person would go other towns too. For instance, as you know, perk tests, and just ask Tammy or anything, is that perk tests that you did them over the years, 2 years old, take a lot of time. And if you had somebody to do that witness perk test, you know, that helps take a lot of time away from people and other responsibilities.
So is it comparable to this nurse grant where they would mainly be in Southwick and then have other helpers in smaller towns?
It could be, and one of the issues, one of the concerns I've had people when they use the R word, which is regionalization, that's why they think they've changed it to shared services, is that there was some concern that towns would lose their autonomy, and they really would. For example, Beckett is getting help from the Berkshire Health Alliance, so they get people that come out, witness a perk test, form, you know, do the inspections and things like that. They still have a board of health that sits once or twice a month, just like you folks do. And they just review plans that have been submitted to them from their consultants. So they still have control and power at their little town, each town, but yet they have other people helping them. And of course, they pay into the alliance. In this case, there's grant funding for that too. So there's a way to have it both ways. You can get help and still retain some autonomy as a town. And it's worked. I mean, there's several towns that are doing this. Don't forget, there's Hilltown District, there's the Tri-Town Health Department. I have to say it's moving in that direction, especially for smaller towns. The Foothills District, the Quabbin District, in a sense, we're moving back toward semi-county government.
We can't even get one health inspector. How are we gonna find another one
Well,
with this grant?
for one thing, they would be boosting the salaries.
Money talks. truly.
Absolutely,
Anybody will do something for the right
That's
price
right.
tag.
absolutely right. And you
And
have
we
you
don't
have a
have
collaborative, and you know, not saying this happens overnight, but everybody would put in their 2 cents, and each town what their needs are. And again, this is being done in the Berkshires all the time. There's in Franklin County, FERCOG, Franklin County Regional Council of Governments. They've been doing it for years. I mean, this is a tried and true. So
My question is though, like how Tammy was at every single one of our meetings, if this person's now accountable for
6 towns.
6 towns, we wouldn't have necessarily the availability to them like we had to Tammy. Is that true or false in your?
We would still have our person, but this would be an additional person.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
yes, this is additional.
So we would have a health director and this would be a health inspector?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
yes.
great.
But
That's
of
all
course,
the clarification. I
The
needed.
bigger challenge would be we have to get
The health director.
We have to
Okay.
find somebody to do that first. And
Okay.
so it wouldn't be that, but there are different models for it. There are some towns that do it that way. There are some alliances that do it that way. They have one person kind of
Health
doing the whole
director, and then you
alliance
have
for
a
the
shared
several,
health
right.
inspector.
And it depends on, no, in other words, there's no one way to do it, right or wrong.
Gotcha,
But-
okay.
But talking about money talks, when they're getting money in as opposed to paying money out, a lot of towns are really responsive to that. So,
Well, if you could set up some kind of example of a model
okay, I can work on that.
and then,
Yes.
show
you-
us
Yeah,
I think it's
person
definitely
A,
maybe
B,
something
C,
we would
D, and
be
E.
interested in.
yeah, I mean, can I get something
Hey, if it's a grant, and if it's in addition
Right,
to
if it's
our
extra
health director,
services.
right?
just as like that other grants, in addition to our nurse.
And I do remember Tammy kind of making a comment of, well, there really should be a health director and a health inspector. Anybody remember that?
Well, especially the larger towns. I mean, that's
Larger
a
towns.
common model.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, Tammy came from a larger town.
okay.
Right.
Yeah, it's hard because she's on call 24/7.
Well, that
I
was
mean,
one
if
of the
it's
points I was
additional
trying to make.
services and we still have a health director that's accessible to us, then I'm open to. the
Yeah,
idea of it.
and nobody's signing up anybody, just
Yeah,
exploring
just
this.
exploring it, yeah. Now, is this something we have to notify the selectmen about or
Yes,
anything?
because
or-
they, oh, absolutely, because I thought they'd be here, I thought they'd be in
Right.
it. This
I think
isn't
the
it the first
there's like
meeting?
a planning
There's a big
board
meeting?
meeting in the
Oh, okay.
auditorium, that's
This
where
is
they
the
all
first
are.
meeting they weren't
Oh,
at in a
that's the
while,
master
right?
plan.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Master plan meeting is downstairs.
And they must Zoom into that,
they're
Well,
all there
there's
right now.
some of them, there's 17 members of the master plan,
okay.
so I imagine some of them are.
So is this something that we want Tom to mention to Carl?
I would think you could, like I said, show me a model because it's conceptual and I need to visualize it better and to come up with, is there grants that you could apply for? You know, how long would it take, et cetera, and on and on. Just some background information.
Well, you said there is a grant, right?
Yes, there's actually two things going on. There's the RFPs are gonna be sent out shortly.
What's
Okay.
that, RFPs?
Request for proposals, applications, basically, fancy word for applications. Which, not unlike the school system, don't forget there's one superintendent, it's for 3 towns, right? The superintendent goes to Granville and Talent. It's one person, doing it,
There's physically no schools in Granville, Colorado.
not anymore, correct?
Right.
Yeah, but there was at one time,
Right.
right? And it's still for 3 towns and you have one person, so the model, we've already seen the model that we have right here, and there's other models that I can
And
discuss.
also, back a few years ago, the selectmen wanted us to regionalize,
Right.
look into it.
Right.
Right,
So they had
Right.
brought it up
right.
Yeah.
to us.
So that's the one that's one model where you could look at having an RFP for the 3 towns, as I mentioned to begin with. The second model that I also mentioned is, but it's a little confusing, is that since we already have that the 6 towns that are in the nursing collaborative, whatever you want to call it, alliance collaborative grant, if we add 1 town to it, and I've already spoken just casually with Jean to see if she'd be interested, and actually she is. They were looking for something. Well, Springfield's looking for something, okay? And they have a lot of skills over there. Jean does, it's a bigger town, they have a lot more capacity. They manage the Big E, so, and she manages a lot of grants, she's very sharp. So it should be helpful, even as a fiduciary agent, if it came to that. But from my understanding is that we don't even have to apply to RFP with this model. If we get 1 more town that we have right now for the nursing grants, if we add 1 town or 2, of course, the more towns, you're going to split it up a little more, but we could ask for more. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. There's 2 models. One is a new application for 3 towns, for example, and the other one is we could piggyback on this grant as long as we add another town to it. That makes sense? Does everybody have?
If we
Got it?
add one more town, you're
Yes.
saying we could get more grant money for a health inspector? Because the grant's
Yes.
for a public health
Correct.
nurse.
It's
Okay.
exactly, but there, you can't, I mean, that's the cost for us.
So that'll be
For
7
anybody, in other
7
words, it's not
towns?
just us.
Right.
In other words, they're not gonna give you something new
population
unless you
based,
do
everything.
something more for them.
Correct.
Them being.
So if you
the state.
add this 7th
You got
west
it,
side,
or 8th,
we'll give you a health
and-
inspector?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Under-
in
the
theory,
grant
yeah,
money.
after applying, after,
But that health inspector,
or more
you have to
than
work
one.
80 hours a week.
Or more than one. Or
Right.
more than one. Don't forget, every town already has some capacity, right? So this is helping out. For example, we mentioned perk testing, which the smaller towns need a lot of that. I mean, it's an enormous amount in our town, never mind the smaller towns. That's what it is. They don't have, for the most part, recreational camps. They don't have hotels. They don't have motels. They don't have campgrounds. They don't have much housing. That's bad, that they have, housing problems with. So a lot of it's Title V stuff, but to get bigger towns, and we have restaurants and all the attendant issues we have, COVID and schools and things like that. So, like it or not, that's where it appears that where the money is going, and the state wants to promote that, how should I say it any other way? They want to promote that for these reasons.
So it's a grant for X amount of years or?
Yes, there's,
Perpetuity or?
no, not perpetuity, no. I believe, and I haven't seen the paperwork yet, maybe you have it on the nursing grant, have you ever seen it?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
Yeah,
I don't think anybody has it.
nobody knows.
really, okay, well, it's somewhere out there. It's renewable every 2 years up for 6 times. So there's 12 years, in that nursing grant right now that we are going to get, unless something happens, the state pulls it away, but, I can't imagine that not happening if, if we perform that, they want certain things, accounting, we want certain things to make sure things are done. But other than that, other towns are on multiple year contracts too.
So
We can renew them.
what does West Springfield have right now for a public health nurse? Is it a full-time position over there?
I
Or do they have more
don't
than
know.
that?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I'm just wondering if there's,
Yeah.
going back to the
What?
nursing grant, if there's gonna be one full-time to cover Southwick, West Side.
Yeah,
and-
if you add the nurse into the west side, that's a
Wait a minute.
No, but I don't
We
think,
don't
I don't
have-
think so. I think this is separate.
okay.
I
so the
think
nurse
this is,
not added
I
into
think,
the west
no,
side.
I think they're on their
Okay.
own. That, yeah, this would be
Okay.
separate. Again,
Okay.
Good.
some of the stuff's new to me too, because I'm
Yeah.
just actually.
I'm more
it's been-
comfortable with that.
Yeah, I
because
just
to
didn't know
disperse a nurse
If they're
between those
full-time and then
six
take
the
on
west
2
side
more
is-
towns, that's gonna be like double
Yeah,
full-time.
yeah.
Remember, it's a
Makes
nurse and a
sense.
half.
Mhm.
Right,
It's.
Right,
full
but even a
part-time.
nurse
So
and
But
a
the
half.
half would cover the hill towns, where there's
Correct.
not a lot
Get
of cases,
health
and the full-time would
director
cover the
and
busy
a
towns.
Right.
inspector and a half restaurant person and another, we get support. We have the main person and these, support people. So the only thing I'm thinking of is, because this is grant-based,
Mhm.
all the money basically comes from the state into the town. So
Well,
that's how
except
the
for this-
person gets paid.
well, except, no, the salaries would still be paying the salaries like for the health director.
The town,
Yeah,
But the health
this would be in addition to,
They would pay for the health inspector
right,
and they would pay,
Correct.
and they're paying for the full-time nurse and the part-time nurse.
correct,
But then we would still pay for our health director.
correct.
So we still have to find a health.
That's right. I mean, it
Yes,
goes back,
yes.
it goes
Bottom
back to
line.
where we started, but,
Yeah.
but yet,
yeah,
but yet that is some, it
additional
is some good
resources
news that, again, that they're really pushing that for the reason I mentioned.
Okay, so can we make a motion to have Tom look into this more?
research it, yes.
Research it more and,
Yes. I would like to make a motion to ask Tom
Okay.
and
to
then,
I'd be happy
research
to do
the
that.
the
The
second
shared
model.
services.
The second model or both models? 'Cause he
Well, we
proposed-
already have the nurse one, so.
No, but the RFP model is, we go on our own with the three and do the same thing, like the full-time nurse would
Right.
be, the 3 towns.
Right,
But that would require an RFP, which
Right.
hasn't come out yet, by the way.
right.
But the other one, the second
We
model,
could join
is
more.
we can join onto it. And
Okay.
that's a good question about the nurse, but I'm thinking it's not involving the nurse for West Springfield.
Right.
But I can check on that, that's an easy. that's
so if
an
we
easy-
Just to
join
say that West
onto it, we're
Springfield's really
joining
busy.
onto who?
We're adding on, think of it, we're adding an addendum to a contract that's already been given. Put it that
Given
way.
to like West Springfield.
No, given to us.
No, the
No,
nursing
given to
grant.
us. In other words, we have this nursing contract, and all of a sudden, hey, you know what, we can use this, we can have extra money, as long as you did this for us, meaning the state. You add another town, so you're doing more than what you originally had,
So it would be a
applied
contract
for.
for a full-time nurse, a part-time nurse, and a health inspector.
But is that health inspector gonna be full-time or part-time?
Well, that's up to us.
Well, no,
In other words,
not
we're gonna apply, we're gonna.
not if the state's giving you the money for the health.
Well, you have to go to the state and say, I want a salary for a full-time.
Right, and you gotta, and you have to
full-time
demonstrate it. I mean, this is not, doesn't happen overnight, and you have to get the buy-in from the other. What if one of the other towns said, nah, we don't wanna do it? So, it's not a done deal by any means by just exploring it. We'd have to look at the other towns and say, you folks wanna, in this? And if any of them say no, then, we'd have to go to option 1, which is the RFP for us.
Okay.
But there is money out there, I guess, the
Yeah.
bottom line, even if there's not qualified applicants, although I'm not saying he isn't, just a lot of qualified applicants, but we're not the only ones having this problem.
I also don't think it would hurt if you can get somehow the health director position on Facebook.
I
Yes,
just, I don't
yes,
agree, I
yeah.
agree with you, yeah,
If you're like in the one of the
Yep.
Southwick forums, I don't think it would hurt to
yeah.
put that
Well,
up.
speaking of that, I went through the budgeting for fiscal year 20 and 21. And I did a little comparison here with all the salaries. I'll give you this information, Tom, but the building inspector is like almost 10,000 more than the health director. And they basically are their own department.
Yes,
They handle everything.
yes.
Like
So
the health inspector.
I'm
does,
not
Like the
quite,
health director does.
the health director and the building inspector, there's 10,000 difference.
For a comparable responsibility, is that what you're saying?
Yes, for very comparable responsibilities.
And we know after this past 2 years, we know how important the
Exactly.
health director
Right.
was.
Actually, that was one of the things I was gonna mention,
Right.
Yes,
that you definitely need to.
we don't know what
definitely
the
to boost
future's
it.
gonna bring.
So
the
I
salary.
think the salary
say more.
boost and a possible reduction of the qualifications
Yeah.
might be a revision to this job application. So that being said, we would definitely have to address this to the select board to see if they would consider raising the base pay and or include benefits such as, 4 weeks vacation, I don't know,
Vehicle?
what else do you
A
get?
vehicle?
No, they actually offered Tammy a
Oh, they
vehicle,
did?
she declined it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow,
Um,
okay, well, that'd still be nice for other people, though.
Well,
Yeah.
I imagine other people probably would, but Tammy, for some reason, she said she was more comfortable in her own vehicle.
Okay.
Being
Yeah.
a vehicle that says the town of Southwick, you could be a target, essentially.
Yes, we are.
Yes, so that, there were other salaries here that were lower. But some of these salaries were like a lot higher. And some of the positions have people that work for them. And Tammy worked on
By
her own.
herself.
These are all towns,
So I did actually do some research on comparable, like population health director
Mhm.
positions, and it was general consensus about 10 grand higher
Yeah,
than,
I think,
yeah.
yeah,
Some
I've
of them
seen
were
stuff
like
even that
way,
actually-
way above.
I
where
did
we
the same
were,
thing.
Okay.
Some of the towns are larger,
but- Right,
right.
right.
however, that's a two-edged sword. The towns that are larger that have a higher salary for the health director also have help.
Correct.
The difference
All of
with
them have
Tammy and
health
myself
insurance.
is, we're on our own.
Right,
For example, the
Right.
police and fire have staff.
right,
If they have
that's,
something going on, they can call, the lieutenant, the captain, whatever. There is nobody but us. You look around and say, do you want to help? That's it. So I think that has to count for something as far as, maybe
Right.
the selectmen would understand that it's long, don't overdo that.
Right.
We need to
well,
boost
that's
the
why
salary.
I pulled all these positions, with the police, the fire,
Yep.
the building, DPW, et cetera, and on and on. And all except for building and health have people that work for,
Right.
under
That's right.
them.
So some would
So-
argue that, well, that's personnel issues there, they are getting paid more than personnel. Well, I would counter argue that they have help.
Right, right. So
Not at
they're
all.
responsible for their employees,
Yeah.
okay, they need to
Right.
get paid more. But
Yeah.
at least comparable
You're on your own.
positions
Yeah.
should have comparable pay, not be a $10,000
Difference, yeah.
difference.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, that's a really good argument.
Yeah,
So-
and we know how important the position was.
Absolutely.
right,
Yes, there's no doubt about
yeah,
it. And last 2 years haven't demonstrated that. I don't know what
Oh,
will.
yeah.
and would a comparable pay have kept him here?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I
Maybe,
think- I
maybe
think so.
not.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all about quality of life, but money has a huge impact.
Yeah.
I don't know how our quality of life
Right.
is here, but I don't even know where she lives, maybe it's closer. I don't
No,
know.
she lives in Chicopee.
Springfield,
But, you know,
Springfield,
she lives in Chicopee.
Springfield.
Springfield?
Mhm.
I thought, where I think it was.
She works in
Chicopee.
Because she used to work in Chicopee. She lived
She
in
worked in
Oh,
Chicopee
oh,
for years,
oh,
yeah.
okay.
Of course, they're
Okay,
neighboring towns.
yeah, but like $10,000 could buy a nice vacation. That'd be a quality of life.
Yeah.
But, you know, so you,
Take a
it's
third
give
out in
and
taxes.
take,
Yeah,
and
more like 6 grand, but it's still a
Yeah,
decent
yeah.
vacation.
Yeah.
it's give and take, but if the town isn't, you know, the select board, finance committee, whatever entity controls the finances, if they can't give us, we're going to have to take maybe something else. You know what I
Or
mean?
go to town meeting and petition it,
Oh, yeah,
because it
Yeah, we
overrided at
could-
town meeting.
we could do it.
I mean, ask for an override.
Except who's gonna get to the town meeting and speak?
Yeah,
That would be you.
No,
You're the
I
chair.
I couldn't do it, so.
Why, you'd be scared, you mean?
Yeah.
No, I don't,
Public
She
I'm
doesn't
not good at,
public speak.
yeah, I'm not good at getting words out,
Articulating yourself? I'm good at
articulating. You're good at it? Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna make our lives easier.
Okay,
Yes,
so,
all right.
does anybody want a copy of this?
Chairman next year.
Or Tom, do you just
I think
want
we
to
all got
take
one,
this
right?
back?
Yes.
This
take it
is
back.
the-
Yes.
Health director position that was posted.
What do you want to do?
Yes, I
with-
would like a copy of that.
What do you want to do with the application?
Well, we acknowledged it,
That was a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah,
yeah,
We should probably call in, right?
Yeah, you think you should have him in? I think
Because
you
he's
should have
gonna
him
lose
in.
interest or get another job. There's all
And,
these
you know,
jobs available.
yes. I think
okay,
you
so
should
why
have
don't we
him.
look at so we have to look at these questions, they have to go to town, they have to go to the town count, who reviews
Didn't we already
these?
do that? We did that before.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know if we're gonna revise some of these.
What if we just omit some of them? Do they
Right.
need to go for
No, I wouldn't think so.
Well, that's
if we
Jean,
just
she knows better than I
omit
do.
some? Like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I
Right.
hope still at our town, but like, can you at least give us 4 years? We'll take that.
Oh, even with, as you know, even with a contract, it doesn't
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah, it doesn't
matter.
matter. Doesn't matter where you see yourself. Though the last interview, the guy was honest, in
Yes.
5 years, he expected to see himself working for the
That's right.
state or something, and he
Right.
was honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah. But yeah, I think just some of these could be omitted, honestly. I don't think we need to necessarily change anything.
The difficult situation ones all kind of seem repetitive. You could probably get rid of some of those.
Yeah.
Like difficult situation, angry person, threatened, those are all like difficult
Yeah.
situations. You could probably
All right, do you
combine
wanna
those.
Yeah.
do it? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, I can,
So
just
we were,
omit some of these.
all right, we
and
were
send it
talking
out.
that we should ask Thomas Curran in
sure, for an interview, sure.
for an interview, but we're gonna go through these minutes and
Questions.
these
Questions.
questions, yes.
Just before we do that, could I just maybe add one thing? Maybe when we contact him, we tell him what the salary range is, if he's coming from Eastern, I don't even know where that
Yeah,
town
he
is.
drives
Right.
He's
2
going from
hours
eastern part of
here.
Boston,
Well,
he's expecting like
Zoom.
110,
Right,
you know,
yeah.
and we have to tell him,
So-
well, no, it's not that. In other words,
Right.
it may be a moot point if we tell him it's a salary range, and that's if we're optimistic with it, and you know, we
Yeah,
can get
yeah.
more money.
Right,
So I think that maybe someone, if whoever want to do it, just let him know what the salary range is, because
He may
it
say
may
Well-
not,
anything.
yeah, he may be,
Well,
Because if he's working for the city of Boston,
Yes. and with the
he's
cost of living out there.
making
then he-
more.
yeah.
we can have a representative call him and offer him, you know, the option of joining a Zoom meeting.
Yeah,
Because
the
he
Zoom's where
doesn't
it's
have
at.
to drive
Well,
from
that's
Boston.
right, yeah.
Yeah,
And for an interview, and then if he has a question, you know, during the invitation about the salary, or do you want to offer just?
We just tell them up front
Yeah, I think,
Okay.
what it is right now.
Yeah,
We're
okay.
working to,
yeah,
Okay,
we're going to see if we can increase it, but we don't know how much.
because there's nothing that we're gonna present nor show him that,
right,
like, sometimes you can interview for a job and be like, well, even if they offer me this, I'm gonna accept it. We don't have necessarily looked at.
We don't even have a range though, there's not even a range on it.
Right, right.
So
So who
What
are
we're
we
asking
going
for
to call?
Well,
is a-
because we
is a-
purposely left it off because we didn't,
Yeah.
because it was low and we didn't,
yeah, but that person doesn't know that. If they're
know,
looking for,
that's right,
everything
yeah.
you're looking for is great. I mean, that's, I have no issue with that, but people are saying, well, I have this and this and this, and
Yeah, you're
I
saying
expect to
we're
get,
catfishing.
I'm gonna get paid, I wanna get this much money, and
Yeah.
if they're thinking that they're gonna get a lot less than, and move from wherever the person lives, no idea. Maybe,
I think we
maybe-
should,
I think we need to appoint somebody to call Mr. Thomas
all right, should we call him or email him?
or email him. Oh, that would be
Well,
you?
Okay.
No,
Okay, you're appointed. You got his application?
yes,
Yeah, okay.
Do we want to, and if he wants to do an interview, do you want to do the interview? Well, it'd have to be after Thanksgiving, right? It'd have to be beginning of December,
Why can't it be at our next meeting?
or, well, because I didn't know whether we want to check these out. Mackenzie was going
I
to,
can do
Okay.
it in literally 3 minutes.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, the only thing I was thinking about is removing number 7.
Yeah, okay, so we just kind of talked about this, because the next 4 questions are all about conflict and.
Right.
So you can kind of just
Right.
make that into one question.
okay, so can
Right.
we, tonight, make a vote that Mackenzie is going to go through these questions, we're going to basically keep the same
Correct. I'm
questions
simply
that
going
have
to
been approved,
Omit.
and she's going to admit them, and that she can email them to us?
Sure.
That
Is
way
that
everybody has my
acceptable?
right email, yeah.
Oh, I don't know, is that considered group information?
Well, it's the minutes as it is, and she's just going to,
I'm just gonna reformat it, is
Right.
truly what I'm doing.
Right.
yeah, so is that acceptable, that she could just email them, so we'll have them?
Yeah, as long as we don't discuss anything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, we're not going to discuss it, you're just
Yeah.
going to,
right, and that way we're gonna get your email.
Yep.
Correct,
Perfect.
Okay.
Kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
okay?
all right, and then do you want to invite him to the next meeting? Do you think it's going to be too much?
well, did you want me to ask him about the salary, tell him about
Well,
the
you know,
salary?
tell him what the
Well,
salary
yeah.
is first,
And then see if he still
and
wants
see
to
if
do
he's
it.
still interested,
Yeah.
yes. Tell him we're,
But you have time to do it in next meeting?
Time to do what?
Do you want him to have him for an interview? Oh, yeah, Zoom.
Right.
Zoom
Yeah,
interview.
yeah,
Oh,
we'll just
right,
give him the
yeah,
link to
yeah.
the meeting, yep.
Well, we haven't
I
done
could
that
do
yet
both.
because you have to get set up.
you know
for
what,
Zoom.
wait a
Oh, that's
minute,
2 weeks.
let's have it after Thanksgiving, let's have it
Okay.
beginning of December, it's too
Okay,
rushed.
the first meeting in
Because-
December.
Mackenzie's going to do the questions, Tom's going to revamp the
Okay,
posting.
But I'll
Right.
call him. I'm gonna call him soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if he
Oh, yeah.
says, he
Interested.
says
Oh, yeah.
absolutely not, and after that's out,
And so,
then we'll know, and then
so why don't
we're
we,
back to square one.
then ask him for the first Thursday in December if he wants to Zoom? Should we do that? Is that an
Yeah.
agreement? Do-
assuming he lives far away. We
Yeah.
don't know
He
that.
he may have moved out here. Yeah,
Right.
Right.
All right, so do I need to make a motion that that Tom is going to contact him, tell him what the salary is right now, and see if he wants to join us for a Zoom interview December, what's the Thursday in December, please?
The 2nd. December 2nd,
All right, so-
first Thursday in December.
I made the motion then.
Yeah, you made
I
it.
will second it.
Oh, okay.
All in favor?
Jean Nielsen, yes.
Kenzie Kane, yes.
Sue Brasko, yes. We're getting everything, Jess, we're talking.
You'll find out at the next meeting.
Okay,
All right, so do we have anything more we need to discuss about the health director's position? Tom's got a lot to think about. And then new business, I guess, no new business, this is like new business.
right. I think our agendas are going
Yeah.
to be all new business,
Yep.
All right.
you know, starting. And I'll teach you Zoom once you
Oh.
get confirmation from
I've already been,
Doug Moglen that he set up a Zoom account for you. Okay?
get on
So,
it.
Ashley, you have any questions? You're all set? No. Tom, you're all set? Jess? McKinley?
No.
I'm all set.
Okay.
Watch it.
What are you gonna
Go
say?
ahead.
I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn.
No, wait a minute, no, no, no.
First, oh,
I'm gonna ask Peter and
Oh,
Andrea.
Peter and
Sorry.
Andrea, I'm sorry.
If they have,
Forgot
any-
you were
if they
there.
have any comments or
awake?
questions.
I'm all set for now. Thank you.
All right, Andrea?
I just want to thank you for handling all of this roller coaster ride. You guys are doing a great job.
Oh,
you.
thank you.
Thank you
Appreciate it.
very
Thank you.
much.
Peter, did you get that?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so
Okay,
now you can
Okay,
do
I'm
it.
Oh, wait a minute, and
Oh,
Jeff,
brother.
we're going to miss you.
Yes.
Yes.
But you'll
Yes,
be
you
around.
will.
Thank
I
enjoyed,
will.
enjoyed
Okay.
working with you.
Yes.
Okay, now for real, I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn our meeting at 8:36.
8:36. I second that motion.
All in favor?
Roll call vote.
Mackenzie Kane, yes.
Sue,
Jean Nielsen, yes.
Sue.